Okay, Dawes profile. We're gonna talk about death, and we're gonna talk about my grandmother. What I was leaving off to say is that what they documented is her first name and her daddy's first name as her last name on some of the documents. And we'll talk about the Indian census at a later time, but we're gonna cover Dawes because all of it is impacted and how things was changed. But this is how the fuckery is for is how everything is. Everything ain't what you think it is. Okay, I'm gonna read some more inserts about death, and you can look this up on your own. You can go to the Congress Library and find it. I have stated more than 1/3 of Creeks have now departed this life. I have not been able to show all of these deaths. The reason being that there are no records of deaths in hundreds of cases in the office of a superintendent of the 5 civilized tribes. And this is true because there are no no necessity for such record, meaning it's not necessary to keep the records anymore. In the early days of the Dawes Commission and after the allotment of land had begun, proof of death were taken. But later acts of Congress made the taking of the proofs of death unnecessary as it provided for the issuance of deeds in every case in the name of the original citizen to whom the allotment was made, whether he was living or dead. So there goes back to the land. There was no need of further filing of proof of death until the present making of the equalization payment. So they gave them small payments, as this payment was to be made only to those whose allotments were a value of $800 or under this class, and no proof of death were taken unless they did come under the class where equalization money was due. So the money had to be due for them to accept it. So understand this, that death, they didn't care. So a lot of people didn't get records. So to register in most tribes, they want the new generation to provide a document of death. Documents of death was never recorded after a certain time frame. In 1907, there was none. And so you have to understand how the laws changed. But then if someone wanted to register, they asked them, well, you need your great grandfathers or great grandmother who's you're going under, what their death certificate to attach. If you didn't have anybody else to validate that this information, you can have the roll number, but you still have to have that death certificate or document showing a heirship document. So stay tuned for more.